What's up, brother?
Hey, my man, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
What's going on?
I'm good, man. I spent the whole day studying your massive catalog of music.
Appreciate it, brother.
I
Appreciate it.
know so many of the hits, but it goes deep. It goes so deep, You're a master of the
It go
craft.
it goes a lot deeper than people realize.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. You know, um, when people, we'll edit this later for YouTube, so I always like to give a little intro for the people
Right.
who are not familiar with all your credits. So we've got Domingo. He's been in the game, in the music game, and very specifically in hip hop for over 3 decades. He's worked with the who's who icons like Rakim, Kool G Rap, Fat Joe, Big Pun, Eminem, Alicia Keys, Big Daddy Kane. The list goes on and on and on. He is a multi-platinum, Grammy-nominated producer who is still working and getting plaques for different accomplishments, and a businessman. And we're going to talk about all of that.
No
Um,
doubt. No
so
doubt.
it's an honor to have you on the show.
Thank
And
you,
what I
bro.
always like to do, thank you, my man, is give the person that I'm interviewing the opportunity to kind of take us back, to the beginning when you first started like producing. How did you get started? What did you produce on? Who put you on? Kind of like that beginning story, and we'll work our way up.
I mean, we gotta go way back to when I was like, shit, 12. When my uncle used to DJ. Actually, younger than that. My uncle used to DJ in a lounge in East New York, Brooklyn, called the Arlington. And
Mm,
I used to go with him. I might have been like 8 years old or something like that. And then he he would DJ in the basement of my house on Shepherd Avenue, and I used to hang down there and just watch him DJ and all of that.
mm,
And I just took a love of music. And when I heard King Tim the Third, that rap record, which is supposed to be like the first rap
yeah,
record ever, and then Sugar Hill Gang took me to another level of, hey, I really wanna be involved in this music thing.
yeah.
So over the years, I would mess around. Well, I DJ'd
Mhm.
first. I started DJing first. I DJ parties in the neighborhood, and then I would listen to Marley Marl on BLS with Mr. Magic.
On the
And
radio.
and there was a roller skating rink in my area called the Eclipse, and we used to go there and roller skate. And Mr. Magic would be there every now and then, and Marley Marl DJ'd there every now and then. But I didn't meet Marley then. But so just to jump forward a tiny bit, I got signed for rapping to Marley Marl, and he was doing In Control Volume 2. And my good friend, my childhood friend Junior, drove me up to WBLS to give Marley my demo for
Wow.
the album, and Marley liked it and signed me for the album. But I would continuously give Marley my demo tapes, and Marley used to be like, "Yo, these beats are
And you were
crazy," but he would never
producing
say
them.
nothing. Huh?
You were producing the beats.
Yeah, yeah. I was making my demos was me, everything me. So Marley would be like, "Yo, these beats are hot," but never said nothing about the rapping. So I kind of like took a hint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then my contract expired with Marley in the album, and I called Marley and I said, "Look, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, but my contract's expired. I'm gonna keep it moving." Marley was like, "What you talking about? I'm signing you to the House of Hits. You're gonna be the first producer I ever signed to my production company." And I was signed, and I was around for Mama Said Knock You Out. Just to clear it real quick, Marley was producing his own records back then. I assisted Marley on certain records, but never produced the records where I say I did it, Marley took my credit. Because I know a lot of people misconstrue when you say I helped. There's certain things like I helped on the Rest the President remix.
Okay.
I was around with Marley. I was with Marley in the studio when he did Jingling Baby for LL. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And Marley could verify all this. I was at LaGuardia Airport when LL was going to Arsenio, and I was waiting for Marley to bring me a sampler, and I was in the lobby, and they held the plane up for LL, and LL was reciting "Mama Said Knock You Out" to me. I was a little skinny Puerto Rican kid. I mean, L seen me around, but he really didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
Everywhere Marley went was this little Puerto Rican kid. That was me. We would go to the tunnel together, all of that. So that's basically how I got into the game. You know what I'm saying? Was mainly for rapping and then the beats. And like from there, I was managed by Francesca Spiro for many years, and I was managed by Russell Simmons and her up at Rush Producers Management. I mean, dude, I could go on for hours.
Yeah, I mean, that's hip hop history. At that time, LL Cool J he ruled the world. I mean, that album was like the big album.
Yep. My man Eddie Sancho, what up? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. And if you see any questions in there that you want to answer, man, that's we're on the
doubt.
live, and we'll edit this later for YouTube.
Right.
What did you start producing on? Like, what equipment did you use to produce?
The Casio RZ1, the Roland S10, and I had a Roland 626 drum machine. But then Marley gave me the Akai. I want to say it's the Akai 612, I think it was. And there's an interview of me and Marley up at BLS where I interviewed Marley, and he was like, "Yo, I gave you that. That's what he gave me at LaGuardia Airport. Like when the limo pulled up, he opened the trunk and was like, "Here, take this, make hits. Talk to you later." And he never seen that sampler ever again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then for the majority of like Dream Shatterer, the MC, all those records, I did them on the ASR 10. And then now I produce with Native Instruments machine.
Got it. So you've always been, changing, finding out what the new technology is, what you wanna roll with. And did somebody teach you, or did you teach yourself?
Nah. You know what's crazy, bro? I've never read a book on how to operate the machines. My younger brother's in here, Thelonious, he just joined us. My brother could tell you. Like he's the one that introduced me to Native Instruments machine. We were actually in Sam Ash or Guitar Center in Manhattan. Yeah. And he's like, "Yo, bro, you heard about machine?" He's the one that showed me that, and I bought it right on the spot. I bought two of them. One for me, one for him on the spot. And then he kept me abreast with that, but I've never read a book. Like what I would do when I was younger, I was going to Lane High School, Franklin K. Lane in Queens. And I wouldn't even go to school. I'd leave, walk all the way to Sam Ash on Queens Boulevard and be there all day messing with the drum machines. Nobody ever questioned me. Like, ain't supposed to be in school and all of that. And I learned that way. I would just cut out of school. I don't encourage it. Sure. But that's what I did.
Yeah, you got your own education.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I went from ASR 10 to the machine, and that's where I've been ever since.
Man, yeah, 10,000 hours, I see that. Another question that popped up was, who was your biggest influence?
Marley Marl. Well, let me back that up. Marley Marl, Large Professor, Paul C., who really people don't talk about. I was blessed to work with Paul C. just one time, and he showed me little tricks on producing. Large Professor, Breaking Atoms was my, how you got like a reference book to go to?
Yeah.
That was my reference, you know what I'm saying? And Marley, like Marley with Kane's albums, G-Rap, all of them, you know what I'm saying? So those three.
We got one question that says, love to hear your thoughts on what AI is going, basically what's happening with AI. And Domingo's a really dope cat to talk about that because, we just talked about how you've been in the game for over 3 decades. You've worked, we're talking about Marley Marl and Kool J, but you're always on the cutting edge of technology. We're going to jump into stuff that you're doing with Media Famous, see if we could get some information about Famous Beats and all that stuff, you know what I mean? So, but Domingo is always on the cutting edge of technology. I think that's a really dope question. We're going to jump around a little bit, but, since the question was posted, what are your thoughts on AI, everything that's happening with that and with the raps,
It's crazy because actually today, while I was at the school that I told you that I teach at.
Yeah.
I I seen an article about AI, and I went on this website, and then I noticed all these AI generators, and there's actually sample generators. You tell it what type of song you want to make, and it'll generate that song for you. So, I mean, AI is not going nowhere. It's actually probably going to advance. Now, as far as using people's voices, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, you know, God forbid somebody gets murdered and they duplicate your voice to say, yeah, I did it. How you even gonna get out of that? You know? So it's a gift and a curse. You know what I'm saying? And my brother asked a question.
Yeah.
Thelonious, that's my younger brother.
That's a dope
But
name.
he knows the answer. He knows the answer.
What was the question?
I don't know. It scrolled past. Let me see if I can see it. Yeah. Wait, let me see. He said, "What's your go-to first, drums or the sample?" It's definitely the sample. I'm very picky on samples. If anybody really knows my stuff, I'm very Latin influenced on samples. I've been lately on Instagram, I've been dropping this behind the beat, and if they paid attention, a lot of those records are Latin records.
Yeah.
Because I don't like soul. I love soul. I love all kinds of music, but being Latin, I went that route, you know, and was able to nail a few records with it, you know.
Absolutely.
And for the record, the sample for Big Pun Dream Shatterer is not Rise of the Valkyrie. Everybody needs to stop saying it. It's not. It's something Wagner. I forgot the name right now, but it's Wagner.
Yeah.
And it's not. Everybody's always. I actually argue with somebody on YouTube. Like, how are you gonna tell me what I said?
You're like, I produced it.
Yeah, I did the record. And he's like, no, it's Rise of Valkyrie. No, it's not. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, the behind the beat that you're doing on Instagram is really cool. The way that you show the sample and then you actually show the record you made out of it.
Yes.
Right. So I find that really dope. So so walk us through. So you get signed to Marley. You start working, you start doing production, right?
Yes.
And then at what point, you know, does it start taking off for you?
My mom's had got me a job at the Board of Education in 110 Livingston Street. I was doing mailroom for Joseph Fernandez, the chancellor, and Rudy Giuliani became mayor, and he started laying people off. So yours truly was one of the first ones to get laid off. Now, in the meantime, I was doing music managed by Fran and all of that. And then she called me the next day. Actually, no, let me back up. Main One, Birth of the Ghetto Child, was one of the first records, that artist that I produced.
Got it.
And that was in, I might get the years wrong, but that was 92, 93. Yeah. So at that time, I was still at the Board of Ed. But I got laid off. And then the next day, and I mean the very next day, Francesca called me and said, hey, Rakim picked 3 beats of yours for his album. And she's like, they want to pay you $30,000. And I was like, well, I'm going to say no.
And that ain't $30,000 in today's money. In the 90s, that's like $100,000 or more.
Yep. And so that came in like literally the next day. So after that, after that, and I was still doing Main One. So we did this record called Grand Combo with Main One, Fat Joe, Curious George, Prince Power Rule, and I think Joe Fatal. So Fat Joe was in the studio, and he's like, yo, I like your beats. I'm gonna be working on my next album. I'm gonna hit you up, whatever. And I said, all right, cool, you know. And you know, because of Main One, I met Fat Joe. So then Fat Joe starts working on Jealous One's Envy, gets a hold of me. It's like, yo, I need beats for this album. We go, so everybody knows, people the internet know-it-alls. They know where this album was recorded. No, it wasn't recorded in the Bronx. The album was recorded in Queens, in Jazzy J's studio. He had a studio in Queens on Sutphin Boulevard called The Music. It was in the Music Building, same building Paul C used to be in. So I went to the studio, and Buck Wild was there. That's when I first met Buck Wild.
Yeah.
Pun was there,
Wow.
but his name was Moondog.
Wow.
I believe Cuban was there. I believe he was. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But so I was playing Joe beats off the cassette because there was no CDs back then.
Yeah, beat tapes.
So, and this is no, because I know how people run with shit. This is no disrespect to Joe, none of that.
Yeah.
Buck Wild was telling him, yo, that shit right there, that one right there. Yeah. And Buck Wild was telling him, use this beat, use that beat.
Yeah.
So Joe took his advice. But the sample for Success was a little tiny interlude I put on the cassette tape. Because I used to do this crazy shit like, here's a beat tape, but there'd be like little interludes of samples. So the sample came in and faded out. And Joe was like, what the fuck is that? I said, it's just a sample. He's like, yo, play that again. I played it again. He's like, yo, make a beat out of that. So Joe, it was just a little sample, and Joe picked it, and then I made the beat for Success right there in front of him. Wow. And then about a week later, he came back, and we did it in the studio. So from there, right, I met KRS-One. Oh. KRS-One, love your beats. Let me get a beat tape. I always had a beat tape on me like a business card. Here, the beat for the MC was on there with a whole bunch of other beats. So Chris calls me down to Rocket Studios in Manhattan, and he's like, yo, I'm going to play you the beat. So we get in his Benz, and he plays the beat. It's the MC. He's like, this is what I want. The MC was done before the I Got Next album. The album that came before that was called KRS. Yeah. And the MC was originally supposed to be on that. But we didn't mix it in time. That's why if anybody ever looked at the liner notes, Chris gave me a shout out because I was supposed to be on that album. So we moved it over to I Got Next. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Joe heard the beat, and Joe was like, yo, what's up? Why you ain't play me that? I was like, it was on that tape. You didn't pick it. So now KRS picks that beat, and he gives the tape to Channel Live. So Channel Live picks like 5 beats off the tape, and then I go to, I think it was either Jack the Rapper or the Gavin Convention down in Atlanta, and I'm approached by my man Kevin, and he's like, yo, is your name Domingo? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, Shaquille O'Neal heard what you did for Fat Joe, because Fat Joe's album was out now. He's like, he heard what you did for Fat Joe. He wants to meet you. He wants you to come to his birthday party in D.C. and introduce yourself to him. I ain't believe this shit. I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah, like whatever.
So he's like, yo, the party
player of the world at the time.
Yeah, so he's like, the party's next week. Here's the information. Meet me in D.C. So me and my engineer, Cuss, we head out to D.C. I'm at the party. I'm like, this is crazy. So we're in the balcony. Mike Tyson is standing next to me. Yeah, dead ass serious. And I'm looking at Mike Tyson, and I'm like, yo, Brooklyn, whatever, we talking. So then they take me downstairs to meet Shaq. And I've posted pictures of it from that day. So we go downstairs, security grabs me like, yo, where you going? And I look at Shaq like, hey, yo. And he's like, yo, let him through. So boom. Shaq is like, yo, love your shit. I need you to come to my house in Orlando, working on an album. I'm like, okay. 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane to Orlando. Wow. Now, at the same time, Pun is working on Capital Punishment. So Pun is in Access Studios. I'm back in New York. Pun is in Access Studios, and he calls me, and he's like, yo, he had the beat for Dream Shatterer from the Joe sessions because it was on Joe's tape.
Yo, all
And Pun
these
told
beats
me
on that one
yeah,
tape?
that was on that one tape. So Pun always told me, keep the beat. I want it no matter what. If I get a deal, whatever, keep it. It was actually 2 beats. And I've heard the other one that Pun rapped over. He played it for me one day. I don't know what happened to it ever since. But, so, and I'm skipping around, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
There's more. But Pun called me to Action Studios, said, yo, we got a problem. I did Dream Shatterer. Can't clear the sample. Barry White won't clear it because Puff paid Barry. Do you still have the beat, Domingo? Please tell me you didn't sell that beat. I said, bro, I told you it was yours. It's yours. Don't worry about it. So he said, take this DAT, go home, and see if it matches it. And bro, I got home, put the beat up on the ASR, and it like married right to the vocals. Like the drops and everything were like, it was almost like Pun wrote to that beat. Even though he recorded it over the Barry White sample, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is the same beat as Black Rob. Or my man AL Skills just said it. I've seen him. So it was the same beat as Black Rob. That's why Barry White didn't clear it. But the beat that I gave Pun, it was almost like he wrote to the shit. So then we went into the cutting room, and a lot of people don't believe me. I've debated this with people. Pun came, and Nasty can tell people, Nasty the engineer, one shot, bro. One take, did the shit over. Did the whole shit over. Now, what a lot of people don't know, and this will be the first time I'm ever saying this publicly, what people don't know is when we mixed Dream Shatterer, if anybody knew Pun, if you knew Pun personally, when he rapped and he took a breath in, he took a really deep breath that kind of rattled his throat, and he would, sound like, almost like he was snoring, let's just be honest. So what we did, me and my engineer Cuss, we had to fix all of that. So nobody knows what we did was we took the reel-to-reel and slowed it down to a real slow pitch where Pun was like that, and we punched out every single breath. It took us about 3 hours, but we punched out every single entire breath. That's why when you hear Dream Shatterer, it sounds so flawless.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying? Like it's clean. You don't hear no breaths from Pun because there was no Pro Tools back then. So we had to figure it out. No, we didn't cut it. We just punched, like muted it in and out on the board. Like we had to program the SSL board to follow what we were doing because even though it was dope, but his breaths was sometimes so loud, it would sound like it was drowning things out. So that's how we accomplished it. And you don't hear that in the other version with the Barry White sample because they didn't do that. The version that we did, we punched out all the breaths.
Wow.
So that's like a little history behind Dream Shatterer that nobody knew. Not even Fat Joe knew that. Fat Joe, if you ask him right now, he didn't know that. Nobody was there when we mixed it. It was just me and Cuss. And here's the other crazy shit. And Tony Druten, he's a sound on sound in New Jersey now. He was manager of Unique Studios where we mixed it. Bro, we were on the top floor mixing it. And we had the mix rattling so much. You heard it in the elevator shaft. And it was rumble in the elevator shaft. And they had Tannoy Gold speakers as monitors. My engineer Cuss can tell you a flame shot out of the speaker. I blew it out. And he looked, my engineer looked at me and was like, you're paying for that shit. I'm not paying for that speaker. Yo, bro, I sat there like, oh shit, we put a speaker on fire with that shit. And that's not even exaggeration. But Dream Shatterer got a lot of history behind it.
Classic record.
Yeah, bro.
For a lot of people, Capital Punishment is one of the most classic hip hop albums of all time. And that's one of the best songs on that album, For a lot of people, it's their favorite, It's so haunting when it comes on, that sound, and then when Pun jumps on that joint.
Yeah. Nah, listen. I've been praised for that record many, many times, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful I was involved in the album. I was involved in Yeah Baby, but Pun passed away before we was able to get in the studio. Pun called me. Yeah, AL, we definitely do, bro. Pun called me and actually yelled at me and was like, "Yo, you my dude. Why the fuck you not on my album?" I said, "Bro, I've been in California with KRS. I've been staying at Shaq's house in Florida. I've been working with Channel Live. Bro, I just didn't get a chance."
Yeah.
And I was supposed to meet him at Apollo Theater that night in front of Apollo Theater. And Gilly, his manager, road manager at the time, called me and was like, "Yo, Pun's not feeling good. He can't make it." And then the next day he passed away. So I was supposed to be on Yeah Baby, but never made it.
Man, thank you for all the dope stories. I mean,
all love, bro.
Yeah.
All love.
Yeah, you've worked with the who's who.
I said I could go for hours.
Yeah. You know, you worked with so many incredible artists, so many iconic records, and then in 1999 you released Behind the Doors of the 13th Floor. Right?
Yes.
And you continue working, you know that, but that one came out like Domingo.
Yep.
Yeah, that came out Domingo. You got Eminem on there. It's like a who's who on that also.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about that first Domingo record.
A gentleman by the name of Steve Salem, who's no longer here, gave me a shot. He got in contact with me one day and said, "Hey, how would you like to put out a producer album?" I was like, "All right." I mean, I really didn't, I think me and Young Lord were the first ones to put out producer albums that year, I think. And he asked me, would you be down to do it? We'll give you a budget. I was like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So we went in the studio in Queens at the time and did the majority of the album. On that album, I'm sure many people or some people have seen it. MC Shan has stated it. That's the only album in the world, anywhere in hip hop ever, that got KRS and MC Shan back to back with each other. And it happened by mistake. Shan met up with me in Queens at the studio. KRS had just left like a couple of hours before that. Shan just happened to be in the area and was like, "Oh, you in the studio? I'm gonna come by." So I'm playing the song, and Shan said, "Yo, put me behind Chris." And I was like, "You gonna go in the studio in the booth?" He's like, "Put me behind Chris. I'm gonna do it right now." And that's how we did it. And that was it. It was just spontaneous. And then Steve Salem kept telling me about this kid, Eminem. Like, I heard of him, but I really didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Bro, listen, you gotta get him on your album. This kid is that next shit." I was like, "All right." And he brought M to Queens. And me and my engineer laugh about it all the time because when M walked in, he had brown hair, brown eyes, not no blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah,
and his hair was combed, right. His hair was combed to the side, and he had a button-up flannel shirt. And I'm looking at him, and I'm looking at my engineer, and I'm like, "Yo, who is this kid?" So Steve Salem's like, wait till you see. So M is listening to that beat, and he's like, "Could you slow the beat down?" And I was like, "Are you serious? Slow the beat down?" He's like, "Yeah, could you slow it down?" And I'm like, "All right, cool." So he's writing, he's sitting right next to me writing, and he goes in the booth. And when he did that verse, I just sat there like, "Oh shit." So I was impressed. And then he left.
Yeah.
Paul Rosenberg was with him. Now, ironically, years later, I was managed by Eminem and Paul Rosenberg at Goliath Entertainment, and Riggs Morales at the time was my manager through Goliath because they brought me over there when I left Rush Producer Management.
Wow.
And truth be told, Francesca went over to run Hitman and Bad Boy, and she wanted me to come with her over there. But I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm going that way."
Yeah.
And then I was under them for a while. And that's how I wound up doing Tony Yayo's Homicide.
It's so crazy how it's all
Adrian
connected.
Miller. Huh? My bad.
Yeah. What's up? What's up, Adrian Miller? It's so amazing how it's all connected and how all these moments, you know.
Yo, it's like I call it a domino effect, because it was like I was knocking them down one after the other.
Yeah.
And you know, like when I met Fat Joe through Main One, and I was with Joe in the studio, Joe said to me, "Yo, you're gonna piggyback off of me and watch what happens." And that's what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when Joe was working on Jealous One Still Envy, he had hit me up on Twitter because we had lost contact. He had hit me up on Twitter, was like, "Bro, I need you for this album." And I sent him a bunch of shit, but then he came out with Make It Rain. So I was like, dude, I'm totally off. Like, I don't know what direction you're going. Yeah. And then he went whatever direction. He's successful.
Yeah.
But I kept going. You know, I've done so much shit that people don't know. From TV commercials to a small scoring piece in Carlito's Way to One Tough Cop to fucking the Menudo Show in Irv Gotti, Adventures in Hollywood. I did the pilot episode for Bernie Mac. You know what I'm saying? Like, I did a lot of stuff people don't know.
Dropping jewels.
And I mixed
I didn't know any of this.
Green. Huh?
I didn't know any of this. I've been doing all the research.
Bro, it's that, you know what it is? I'm not that type of person to go online and brag. I let the music speak for itself. Yeah. And if you find out, you're like, oh shit, I didn't know you did that. Nope. Like, a lot of people didn't know I did Angie Martinez, Suavemente. You know what I'm saying? I did that. Wyclef did not play the guitars. As much as people think that's a sample. That sample from Suavemente was an instrumental CD of relaxation music I found in a rest stop while driving to California. And when I came back, I made the Suavemente beat because Joe told Angie, yo, work with Domingo. Yeah. And Hakeem, no, I ain't lying. Yeah. Main One is good. Main One owns some martial arts schools in New Jersey. He's doing very well for himself. And that's my brother. I got mad love for my brother Main One.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Yeah, I see Hakeem on there.
Hakeem is stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying that. But
yeah.
But I continue, like, a lot of KRS stuff that came out recently. A lot of people don't know I did it. And the reason why is because I did an agreement with Mad Lion to produce the album. But for some reason, my name was left out of the credits. So I started releasing songs. And I'm not shitting on them, I'm just telling the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm all about integrity. If you say we doing something together, anybody that works with me on albums like Kool G Rap's album that just came out, you'll see it says produced by Domingo and such. Because I don't get down like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But a lot of that KRS stuff is mine. The beats. And when I did my KRS Rakim concert in Pittsburgh back in 2015, I was in the SUV traveling with Chris, and he looked at me and said, you know I know those are all your beats, right? And I said, oh, I'm glad you know, because nobody was telling them. You know what I'm saying? But that's you know, that's history, bro. It is what it is. You know, I live and learn every day in this music business, still to this day. You know?
And you've been killing it at the music business for a long time. You know.
Thank you.
I saw a comment there talking about the G-Rap album. Let's talk about that one a little bit, because you produced Kool G Rap, The Last of a Dying Breed. You produced that whole album. Yes. And that album, Ewing Athletics and Jeremy Beaver over at the National Hip Hop Museum in DC came to me and asked me to work on the album. And I agreed to do it. The album was technically done. Musically, they wanted to take it in another direction. So they called me and we went up in Sound on Sound in New Jersey and redid the album. Oh, that's super, because that's DJ Boom. Yeah,
DJ Boom. Yes, that's Jeremy. Yes.
Yeah. That's what's up. That's super interesting. That album is so fire. There's one track on that joint that's critical, where he's rapping that double. Yeah, that song is nuts.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah, nah. Yeah, the G rap, like I said, work, and you know, I've been blessed to work with all the legends. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know Jay-Z, never worked with him. I know Nas since he was 13, never
Mm,
worked with him.
mm,
You know what I'm saying? I had when Nas was working on Illmatic, I took him to East New York with me, and we actually forced him to go to East New York
mm,
and brought him to my man Flex's basement
mm,
and played beats for him while he was working on Illmatic. So
mm.
I mean, my history in the game is deep, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I was around Mobb Deep when they was Poetic Prophets.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I was in the studio with Large Professor when he did Peer Pressure for Mobb Deep and Power Play. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
And then you got to check out. Look, I'm gonna plug it for him right now. Madism 2015, I produced with Tretch, Do It All, and Keith Murray.
Mm.
And also, Hakeem, let them know what's the name of your album because I just forgot the name of it.
Yeah, Hakeem,
But
yeah.
I mixed and mastered Hakeem's music and produced by Ron Lawrence.
Got it.
And Hakeem is family,
Yeah,
you know, Channel Live. That's from Hakeem from Channel
yeah,
Live.
yeah.
That's my brother, you
Shout
know what
out
I'm
Channel
saying?
5, shout out Hakeem.
Aubrey, there it is, Aubrey.
Mm.
Yes, that's the name of the album, Aubrey. But yeah, man. So like I said, the history is deep, bro, real deep. Me and Prodigy was tight for many, many years. You know, there was times Prodigy was in the
Yeah.
hospital, and I would track him down and call him. He'd be like, "Yo, bro, how do you do that?" I'm like, "I know your name."
I
You
got
know what
your
I'm saying?
government.
Yeah. But you know, man, I'm just blessed to be in this game. Was it like gonna be 36 years this year?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I couldn't ask for a life like this. You know, I
Yeah,
mean, the music industry has its up
sure.
and downs. We all do, but I wouldn't trade it for
Yeah,
nothing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. You've made iconic records. You know, it's a who's who when we talk about who you've worked with, the moments of your lifetime. At some point, you're gonna have to do the book because you got stories. You've been there. You were in the studio
Nobody
session.
reads though. Nobody reads. You know what I'm saying? Nobody reads,
Yeah,
bro. You know,
there's something to
and
that.
yeah, I mean, I was during the pandemic. I was approached by Simon and Schuster to do a book,
Mm.
and then all these Trump books came out, and they were like, "Yeah, you're not interested, buddy. We like Trump." So I was like, "All right," and I was like, "All right, whatever." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I'm at that point where one day I'll tell the story because I don't want nobody telling my story.
that's right.
Because I told all the artists I know, G Rap, Kane, Hakeem, yo, we gotta tell our story
That's right.
because they let too many idiots tell these stories and they don't get it
Yeah,
right. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So one day I tell my story because it's just too long, bro.
Mm.
You know? And a lot of people be amazed when I be like, yeah, this is mine, that's mine. Yo, you know, I own publishing, Drake owned me. That's why I got that Drake plaque.
Yeah.
I never met Drake in my life, but I got a plaque on my wall and I
Mm.
own 15% of
Mm.
that record. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mm.
So, you know, there's a lot of history,
Yeah.
bro.
I think that's a good segue because, you know, we're talking about business and publishing and everything. Um, can you tell us a little bit about MediaFamous.com?
MediaFamous.com is digital distribution and marketing services for unsigned independent artists or, you know, major artists, whatever. We launched it back in 2019. It's $9.95 a year,
Mm-hmm.
unlimited releases, unlimited albums, singles, whatever. You keep 100% of your royalties, and we have marketing services that are top notch.
Mm-hmm.
And we distribute Hakeem, we distribute Marley Marl, um, we distribute a few people. You know what I'm saying? And it's going good. It's growing and growing. You know, you
Yeah.
start out as with baby steps and it grows. You know, I could say that on the Google search engines, we done knocked DistroKid out the way.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And it just grows. And I'm happy for it. I mean, you know, as it grows, more and more people get to realize it and they come on board.
Yeah, it's a really cool service because, you know, I think it kind of started with CD Baby and TuneCore, and then DistroKid came in and dropped the price. But then your price is even better than that. But on top of that, you guys actually have services that you provide. So if somebody wants like
Yes.
a media blast, they want it to go to DJs. You have things that the other services don't have.
Yes. Yep. We have playlist promotion, real playlist promotion, pitching. We have the digital billboards all around the country. We have email blasts, social media marketing. We've helped blow up a couple of artists. I'm not gonna say their names.
Yeah.
But we've helped blow up a couple of artists. And and that's how I knew we was on the right path.
Yeah.
And when you got an artist and their shit just blows up and you play the part, it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. And you've done that for a lot of people. It's really dope to see you continuing to do that as the business and technology changes. You've got your pulse on it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another service that it looks like that you're working on. I'm not sure if it's fully ready to go yet. It's going to be called Famous Beats.
Yeah. We started with me and Jeremy Beaver, DJ Boom.
Yeah.
We started working on it, and don't mind me, I'm just putting something in the messages that somebody asked.
Yeah.
That we started on it, and we haven't finished it because the idea was to bring on board producers that are known. So, what a lot of people don't know either is that me and Rockwaller were the ones that started selling beats online. We started that whole shit. BeatStars was born because of me and a couple of other people. And Abe Basson, the owner of BeatStars, can verify that. Everything I say, I ain't saying shit that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's verifiable. Abe Basson seen me selling beats online and hit me up and was like, yo, I want to, pick your brain for like an hour. And he told me his idea about BeatStars. And I said, go for it, dude. This is what you got to do. This, and this. I wasn't a fan of the licensing beats thing back then, but I kind of get it now, even though it causes a lot of copyright issues.
Yeah.
But so BeatStars was born, and me and Rockwaller were the only ones out there at that time, like with names that were selling beats. And there was a lot of my peers that thought I was crazy. But $450,000 later, I wasn't crazy.
You're not that crazy.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then all of them was like, yo, how you doing that? Jelly Bean Benitez, who I had a publishing deal with, the dude that found Madonna, called me. Yo, we should do one for house music. So these people were all coming to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I knew I was on the right track. And like you said earlier, I always try to stay ahead of the game. As we speak, there's tricks we got coming for Media Famous that I just don't say nothing.
Yeah.
Because in this game, the loudmouths, I don't do the loudmouth stuff. I move in silence. And then you see the results. Because I don't want to brag. There's nothing for me to brag about.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. Produced, been there, done that. Before G-Rap's album, I really didn't put out nothing for a few years because I was concentrating on Media Famous. But there'll be more stuff coming.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to ask you about because, there was that period of time in 1999 to about maybe 2014 where you had a few like Domingo projects. You had the Para Mi Gente joint where this got a lot of Latin samples, which is really, really dope.
I did that for Jelly Bean. I did that for Ola Records.
Yeah. So you got like so many projects you did, but then around like what you were saying, around 2014, you're still kind of doing some stuff, but you're focusing on the business, on Media Famous.
Yeah.
Then you come back with G-Rap album and drop like classic production. This is my opinion, but that's one of my favorite G-Rap albums of all time.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, and G-Rap, man, I feel like and it's cool because he just did his last album. He doesn't get the credit that I think he should, but he
damn sure don't.
Yeah, but like a lot of dudes I talk with, when I ask people all the time, especially on the show, like what's your top 5? And G-Rap's on there. We had Illa G on here last week, and he was like, it's G-Rap.
Right.
Illa G was like, it's G-Rap, and then everybody else. So people know, and he does get that respect, but I feel not enough. You always get Biggie and Jay, right? And it's like,
right.
G-Rap is he's a titan. He's a
Yeah,
titan.
yeah.
You know.
Nah, he is. He's an unsung hero of hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of artists got their style and their cadence and their whole inspiration from G-Rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the multi-syllabic, the rhymes within rhymes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. G-Rap is one of the illest that ever did it. Just I don't see why people don't like name him as one of the greatest. I mean, people do have him in their top 5, but yo, he'll body a lot of rappers, bro.
Yeah.
I've heard him say shit that nobody says. You know?
Domingo, what can you share about what you got coming next in regards to music production, things like that?
Nothing. Just pay attention. Pay attention to MediaFamous.com.
Yeah.
Pay attention to Grind Mode Worldwide. Grind Mode Music Worldwide. Pay attention to what Hakeem Green drops. Pay attention to all of that. Because Domingo's involved in all of that. If you're in Pittsburgh, come see us. It's Friday. Kool G Rap Rakim, Club Icon. This Friday. Pittsburgh. It's gonna go down. And then I got another something coming. There's something else coming in July. Just not gonna say it right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we're gonna make it pop, bro. We're gonna make it pop.
Yeah.
And just like I said, just pay attention. I don't really like to say what I'm doing because there's a lot of people, you know, you got 60,000 followers and probably 1,000 something nuts that wish you bad. You know what I'm saying? So let them watch from the nosebleed seats because you ain't rocking with us. And make sure you check out my man Boogie the Hitmaker, producer, one of the illest. He's, you know, this is my bro. There goes Grind Mode right there. Grind Mode 412. Follow them. Kid Frost, I produced Eastside Rendezvous remix for him back in the days. Man, listen, I could go on, bro, but I gotta jump, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I appreciate, you know, doing this, man, and we maybe could do it again. You know what I'm saying? Another time. But I could go on for hours, brother.
Domingo,
Hours.
I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you, my brother.
Yeah, you've done so much for hip hop, you know, and I wanted to make sure that we give you that credit. We thank you for the time. Thank you for sharing your stories, you know.
Thank you.
And this will be up on
you know
YouTube
what?
in 2 hours. Yeah.
And you know what? I appreciate you, brother, for real. And everybody that keeps on hitting up DJ EFN about Drink Champs, look, my man Chris right here got me on here. I can sit here and tell it. You know what I'm saying? It's all love.
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we'll talk again, my brother.
All right.
Appreciate
Thanks so much,
you.
Domingo.
All right, brother.